Welcome to the Village of Buchanan, March 3rd, 2026 meeting. Case of emergency, please use the exit door here, or there is a stairwell behind the elevator. Please use the stairwell, not the elevator. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, thank you. Approval of the minutes for January 6, 2026, the 27th workshop meeting. Any comments or questions on those minutes? Okay.
I have nothing.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Comments from the floor, agenda items only. Does everyone have an agenda? Okay. No comments from the floor? Okay. New business. We have a presentation by Kiernan Outhouse regarding the Knockbox Rapid Key Access Program. Kiernan, could you come up to the podium? Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me tonight. Kieran Outhouse, as you know, First Assistant Chief from the Buchanan Engine Company. I'm here to talk tonight a little bit about the Knoxbox program. It's a trademark term, so it's rapid key access is what we're supposed to call it. We've had a few businesses in the village, because AMS being one of them, that is interested in putting a Knoxbox in. So this kind of spurred a discussion on a Knoxbox for the Village of Buchanan. Basically, what a Knoxbox is, for those who aren't familiar, it's a small box placed on the outside of usually a commercial building. It has a key inside, and it's only accessible by the fire department. It's a secure system, so the system that we're looking at, we did include it in the budget for this year, would be a key code would be assigned to every firefighter, so it's tracked. We're also going to see if we can implement a system where the fire control dispatch can send a tone to the device and unlock it. So everything's time-stamped and tracked. So not much of a security concern in terms of misuse of the key. But we think it would be a good thing to have in the village. The goal is to prevent us breaking doors down, breaking into windows, and that's pretty much an overview of that. So there's a few municipalities, pretty much every fire department in Westchester that I'm aware of uses this to an extent. Some have mandatory systems, some do not. So I did send Marcus, I sent the list of mandatory, if you have that. Town of Cortland is actually one, Yorktown, Peekskill, Ossining Village, Briarcliff, I can go down the list. I think it's worth considering if the board is willing to entertain it. Some sort of Knoxbox ordinance in the village, whether it be for all new buildings or any renovations over 50% as a compromise, or all current buildings in the village. And usually you give a year or 6 months, sort of a grace period to install it. So that's kind of what we're looking at doing. The cost for this for a commercial structure, if approved, is about $500. For residential, which we're not looking at doing, but if a resident wanted to put it, he could do it, certainly, is $227 for a box. So it's about $230 for a residential house and about $500 for a commercial building.
So is there a fee? Is it a one-time fee?
It's a one-time fee.
Oh, okay. All
The
right.
fire
And then-
department, the cost to us is about $3,000 one time, and then it's about $700 a year thereafter. So that pays for the cloud software to track it.
Okay.
We're planning, if approval in the budget, putting one in each fire engine. And all our officers, deputy chiefs, lieutenants, they'd have the code and the ability to request it.
We
So Kieran,
mentioned,
the keyless part of this is not a contract to the consumer? So it's only on you to pay your annual fee? So the
So,
consumer buys the box, but if there's a keyless entry, it's not passed on to the consumer, you know what I mean?
so the keyless entry, it's part of the package. It's not something we're really looking at doing. It's just you can't take the option out. I'm sure it's more expensive, and there probably is an annual fee associated, which is why we're not looking at doing the automatic one. There's one that's like a key fob that the fire department can tap. Then you got to run electric to it, internet. We're not really looking at doing that. We just prefer kind of the analog mechanical system that you could just screw into a building and leave it.
yeah, I think that's the best way, because otherwise then somebody has to get an electrician, install it. It just becomes more
way too much
costly.
money.
And you really want to make people want to do this. We talked a little bit about this last time. I personally I'm definitely going to do this with my commercial buildings. I think it's a smart thing to do. If you're not in the village, you're at work or traveling or whatever, at least the fire department, especially for a commercial building, to get into a building that has glass or a door, it can be extremely expensive. I myself am not in favor to tell people that they have to have it. I think it should be an option. But we'll see what the board's thoughts are too. But thank you so much for researching this. I think this is a great program, and thank you for bringing this to us.
I mean, even if we can just do it on a voluntary adoption basis,
Sure,
we're
yeah.
still more than glad to do that.
Okay.
I did send the 2 different drafts. Again, they're just bullet points. I'm not a lawyer, so I did the best I could. Looking at other municipalities, and one is for, again, everything in the village, and one is just for everything that's newly built. So I kind of 2 different pathways if you want to go either way or neither way. I just thought I'd do that because City of Peekskill actually does that where it's only new and 50% are over. That was passed in 2022.
Okay.
So Peekskill's a decent sized city. They're not going to make everybody put one on. It's a lot of money. So that was kind of a compromise that they came up with. So I figured I'd include that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Any other
Thank
questions?
No, thank you, Karen.
Sure.
Thank you. So what are the board's thoughts on this? The mandatory or voluntary?
I think voluntary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for it. I kind of like the way Karen presented the Peekskill option too. Anything new, it should be mandatory. Any kind of major renovation, 50% or better, it should be put in. I think that's, a good option as well.
Yeah, I'm for the voluntary, and I follow what Dan said. Anybody comes in for a building permit, 50% or greater, or even brand new, I believe that should be mandatory.
And really, it's not, if you look at the price, $500 one-time
Right.
fee, it's
Not a lot.
not so bad.
And you're talking about commercial?
Commercially.
Commercial.
Not residential.
Right.
No, mandatory would only be for the
Yeah.
commercial aspect.
Yep.
But I think if a resident wanted it,
Yeah,
they
well,
could, what would they do? Contact the fire department to make that happen?
Let's go over the ordering process.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay,
say, why don't you
please,
explain
thank you.
the registration part of it?
If they want to buy it, they go online, they fill a form out. It requires our signature before it can go to Knox. So the
Okay.
fire department has to authorize and be aware of it so we can track it. Then it'll go to them, to Knox, and they'll buy it through them. They are giving us 3, well, we have it already, 3 keys, 2 for the fire department and 1's supposed to go to the building inspector. What the village does with it, that's on, you to determine. Town of Cortland just keeps them in their office locked, to my knowledge. I don't think they use them. But Knox wants the code enforcement officer to have a copy as well.
Makes
But,
sense.
Again, you can't just enter a building.
Right.
It's
Yep.
All right.
but
Okay.
sure.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So I'll do this voluntarily. All right, the next is, so since we're not doing it mandatory, we won't have to set up a public hearing for it. Is that correct?
That's up to you. I was just writing down draft local law for April. Would it be April?
It would be the
What's
April
next
meeting,
one?
yeah, because it's the next
You
meeting.
don't want it in the code?
Well, if
for
it's not
commercial?
mandatory, so that's why I'm asking.
Oh, so commercial's not mandatory?
Well, if
Off
we go by
after the 50.
aspect of using it, when they go, somebody files for a building permit for a new construction, then it has to be in
Yeah.
code, because then it would be mandatory for commercial.
For commercial,
But
that's
if you
how
don't
I
go in
had
that
it.
direction, then,
So then it's
Oh.
up to
I mean,
you.
either, it's up to you guys. I mean, I just suggested it because Kieran suggested it, that Peekskill uses that as part of their code.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an option we have. I think it's a good option for new and 50% renovations on commercial properties only.
Yep.
Okay, so
I think you
we,
should probably have in the code, so I'll
Okay.
do it for you, a local law. and we'll
so then,
Till May.
So you got time.
Call for it in April?
Okay.
Or you call for it in May for June?
we could call for it now and then do it in May.
Right.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to call for a public hearing on May 5th, 2026 regarding the Knoxbox Rapid Key Access Program. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next is a motion authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Cortland. This is something we do all the time. So I'd like to make a motion authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Cortland regarding shared use of equipment and also with bidding with the town purchasing director. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next is a motion, hold on. So this is the TRACS program that the police department uses. It's for ticket and accident report data in a police vehicle environment and the electronic transfer of that data from law enforcement agencies to DMV and courts. The system is called TRACS, Traffic and Criminal Software. It is the intention of the New York State Police to provide the TRACS software to any police agency in New York free of charge, based on New York State Police support staff ability and the lead agency's ability to self-support. So this is important for our police department and the sharing of information. So I am going to make a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the TRACS use and dissemination agreement between New York State Police, the County of Westchester Department of Public Safety, and the Village of Buchanan Police Department. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next is a request for a solar solicitation permit. We've done this before. Any of the companies that want to solicit here in the village, they have to get a permit. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the request from Active Solar for a solicitation permit to go door to door between the hours of 12 and 6 p.m. on Monday through Saturday, but not more than 2 times a week. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next is a motion to accept $3,700 donation from CPR AMS, Buchanan owner, LLC, for Buchanan Engine Company equipment. This is for extra hose that is needed for the AMS building, the Sylvan Woods building. The fire department did not have enough hose, so AMS is donating $3,700 to be able to purchase more hose. So can I have a second to
Second.
accept? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next is something something that's come up. We're supporting the increased aid to municipalities from New York State, and I'm going to read the resolution on that. Whereas Governor Kathy Hochul released her 30-day amendments to the executive budget, which includes an additional $100 million in temporary assistance, TMA, to be allocated in the same manner as in the past 2 years. And whereas these additional investments reflect a recognition that New York's strength begins in its cities, villages, and towns, and that a strong state-local partnership is essential to delivering the services, infrastructure, public safety, and quality of life that residents expect and deserve. Whereas local governments across New York continue to face mounting fiscal pressures driven by inflation, increased service demands, infrastructure needs, and rising operational costs, while striving to provide relief to taxpayers amid a rising cost of living. And whereas New York Conference of Mayor Executive Director Barbara Van Epps, along with the mayors from across the state, testified at the local government joint budget hearing in Albany, advocating for increased unrestricted aid and a strengthened state-local partnership. Whereas the additional $100 million in TMA will offer meaningful assistance to many municipalities statewide, helping to address fiscal challenges and maintain essential service for residents. Now therefore be resolved that the Village of Buchanan applauds Governor Hochul for recognizing the importance of investing in local governments and for reaffirming her commitment to strengthening New York cities and villages. Be therefore resolved that the Village of Buchanan urges the New York State Legislature, oh boy, tongue twisted here a little bit, to include at a minimum the additional $100 million in temporary assistance, municipal assistance in the adopted state budget, and be it further resolved that the Village of Buchanan calls upon the governor and the state legislature to develop a more permanent and predictable solution for unrestricted municipal aid to ensure long-term fiscal stability for New York's local governments. And be it further resolved that the copies of this resolution be transmitted to the governor, the temporary president of the Senate, the Speaker of the Assembly, and the members of the state legislature representing the Village of Buchanan. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cindy, I'd like to just ask you a question in reference to this. Currently, we get $18,000?
Yes.
Okay,
That's 75.
okay, so we get approximately 18. So with the additional 100 million, is there any, no calculation, if we did get it, you know, what it would be?
It was minimal. I want to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, because we're one of the smaller municipalities, so, you know, when you talk about cities and things like that, they'll get a lion's share of that. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so now we go to information from officers and departments. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, yes, we had to add that, I'm sorry. Okay, we have an addition on to the agenda. I'm going to make a motion to call for a public hearing on April 18th, 2026, regarding the budget hearing. April 8th, yeah, April 8th. I just saw that, I was like, no, it's not the 18th, April 8th. Got to have it approved by the end of the month, so that would be a little short. So, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go to informations from officers and departments. Justice Court reports for December 2025 and January 2026. Let's see, for January, 1,423 was, I think that's the only report I have here. December 25th and January 22nd.
Handed out the December ones.
Oh, okay, all right. So we have those already. So that's the justice report. Police report, what do we have?
The main calls for the police department were alarms. There were 11 of them, medical aided calls for 12, and property checks that were 26.
Okay, highway report, December 25 and January 2026.
For the highway report, we have garbage collection totaling 95.85 tons for the month. Just to bring up the fact that they were very busy cleaning snow through the month of January. They did a fantastic job. They kept our streets clean and safe for our residents, which I really accommodate them for. And, you know, meanwhile, they took on other tasks here. Like Marcus, you said you had mold in the kitchen downstairs. They remediated the mold and installed all new tile and countertops and redid it. And it was all done in-house by our highway department, which was a big save for the village. And it's great to see how skilled our employees are. So I want to thank them for all of that and keeping the village safe and clear of snow and ice for the season.
Okay, and they had a difficult water main break over the weekend. It was difficult to get to it. I had stopped while they were working on it, and I understand there was cement that they had to go through. It took them most of the day to get to the pipe that they had to get to. So, yeah, it's that time of the year for water main breaks.
Especially up there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, wastewater treatment plant. For January, treated wastewater, 8,362,000 gallons, sludge removal, 244,000 gallons, and everything looks good over there. All right, thank you. And building department, December 2025 and January 2026.
That would be me. So orders of remedy, 0. Court appearances, 2. Stop work orders, 0. Building permits issued or reviewed, 9. Inspection required for newly issued permits, 10. Inspections on file from permits and compliance inspections, 15. Certificates of occupancy, completion and issued, 9. Compliance inspections for resale or refinance, 2. Court appearance for 300 Blakely Avenue, 1/13/2026. Inspection of the property was performed to cooperate with the Village of Buchanan Court and Building Department. Tenants removed according to attorneys on 1/11/2026. Inspection set for 1/26/2026. and it's been adjourned until March. And then we have the AMS project, which seems to be moving along as scheduled. First foreclosure into completion for occupancy. And then we have 3109 Albany Post Road, processed and served and claimed not to be the owner. Paul's attorney's going to the Article 78 process. That's it.
All right, thank you. And I forgot to mention, Steve Laker is on Zoom. Steve, Buchanan Engine reports?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. For the month of December, there were 6 total alarms. The month of January, there were 15 total alarms. Also during the month of January, Fire Department conducted a walkthrough of AMS for portable radio testing and unit layouts. They were also on 24-hour standby during the storm between January 25th and 26th. And I also have a report for the annual calls for the year, and there were 146 total alarms, 2025.
Okay. All right, thank you, Steve. Planning board minutes, I guess they're online. Prosecutor's report, there is nothing. I will start. I just want to say thank you for all those who shoveled around the fire hydrants in the front of their house. It's much appreciated. The fire department appreciates it. You never know if there's emergency, there's a fire. The fire department has to get in there, and we've had a really tough winter. So thank you to all. Some of them were done they were done so well. It's like they must have done like 10 feet out. They really did a great job, but appreciate everyone jumping in to help out. I want to thank Cindy. She's going to hate me, but anyhow, when we put out the code red, sometimes it's necessary that it has to happen on a weekend, and Cindy, is always available to do that, and she's always very helpful, and it takes time to do that, but Cindy, we appreciate you, doing that for the residents. The code red is important to let them know different things, like, getting the cars off the street and whatever information we have to get out there. So much appreciated that you take your time to do that. What else do I have? I had a few other things, but anyhow, the other thing is I can't disclose it right now, but by the end of the week, the Village of Buchanan might have some a good announcement coming. So there's some things that are in the works, and keep in touch with us. We'll let you know what the announcement is. So it's been something that's been worked on for quite a while, and the announcement is coming out soon. Attorney's report. What do you have for us, Stephanie Porteous, Village of Buchanan attorney?
Thank you. Just brief updates on the 2 areas of litigation that we're involved in. So with the police department, they're in voluntary mediation, trying to settle that. You know the case I'm talking about. And John Doe, the Forever case, that is still waiting for the plaintiff in that case. Made some motions and was denied twice. They made an argument to re-argue again. If the appellate division says no, you're out, then they're going to move to the Court of Appeals. So that one continues. The other one is, I think, almost settled.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. I'll keep you updated. This is the
Thank you.
never-ending saga.
And, I'm going to go to trustee reports also. Steve, I'm going to go to you first so I don't forget you. Since you're on Zoom,
No.
it's easy to forget. So any reports for us today?
Yeah, no problem. I apologize for not being there in person. Work trip sent me down to North Carolina, but I did want to state, we are geared up for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Sunday, March 15th, 2 p.m. is Step Off. We're going to be honoring Brian Tubbs as the Grand Marshal, as well as Pete Kelly, Casey Morabito, Maria Morabito, and Lisa Cole. And I also want to thank AMS. We touched upon it earlier, accepting that donation for the fire hose. That was something that came up when the fire department was doing their budget. They requested that from AMS, and they quickly jumped on it and donated the funds needed for that fire hose. So I thank them for that. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Anthony, what do you have for us tonight?
Just a couple things. A quick question, the surprise that you're talking about, any way you want to make us as board members, bring us on board with it, or?
I would like to, Anthony, but I have been told that I cannot say anything, so before the announcement comes out, I will let the board know. It's something
Why
I've
would you
been,
bring it out now instead of discuss it with us in executive and then announce it?
but I
together?
can't.
But you should have
I
never
can't-
talked about it, is what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
then, I'm sorry I talked about
Well,
it, but
it's a
I'm
campaign
so,
season, I get it.
I'm so excited about it, so I just wanted to say
It should have been
something.
discussed in executive, and then you could.
It's something I can't discuss in executive. If I
can't?
could, I cannot discuss it in executive yet. I will send the board an email before the announcement comes out.
Are you guys comfortable with that?
No, I'm not, but.
Is that how everything else goes around here?
What else is new?
Yeah, right.
Well, I can
All right,
talk
so
about
did
things.
you get the letter
too.
from Holtec about the ball field you promised
Yeah,
me?
I did not get a letter, but I do have a comment from Patrick O'Brien.
No, you said you were gonna
who
get
is-
me a letter.
Well, I couldn't get a letter, so I will
Because I
tell
also
you.
met with Patrick O'Brien, and
Okay.
he says he has no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so here's what Patrick O'Brien said
No, I
to
don't
me
care,
the
it's my turn to speak.
Okay, then I won't discuss it.
Thank you. You didn't get the
welcome.
letter, that's all I asked. So it appears that last time we had a meeting, somebody made me famous on Facebook for a comment I made about AMS, about how I was proud of the building. And yes, I am still proud of the building. I voted it in just like everybody else sitting up here at this table, and I am proud of it. And just so some of the facts are, right now, the AMS project is 40% leased. 40% leased, okay? They are under private refuse collection, which is imperative and is very important for us. They also are bringing in over $170,000 in recreation fees. That is, without being said, all of the building permits that they have purchased to this time. When fully done, this will bring in roughly $300,000 in taxes. Okay? You can comment and hate me for the building, but in 2017, New York State came to the village of Buchanan and said, we are going to close the plant in 2021, we'll stop production. The mayor was in charge in 2017. There was never no plan or anything done. I got involved in 2022. Still no plan. Here it is, 2026, and we're talking about things that should have been done 10 years ago. There is still no plan. We decided, when I got in, and Dan and Steve, and even Teresa voted yes on this, to take on the AMS project to try and help the tax. And it's $300,000. Yeah, oh, it's not that much, right? But I have 5 kids. I'm fighting the fight just like all of you. I am here for a long time, and I need to make sure that my family is comfortable, just like the fixed incomes, the retirees, and the families with young children in this community. So that's why I voted for this project. I feel like it was a benefit, and it was good for us to start to break down the tax barrier we were facing. Now, I don't care about the critics. It doesn't bother me. I'm criticized by a lot of things. But just think about the facts. The facts are what they are. You can go out and blow smoke and say whatever you want to do, but the facts are what they are. So if anybody has any questions on anything with AMS and how it's going to help us moving forward, Marcus has all the answers you need, and any of us have all the answers you need. Instead of listening to the naysayers and the BS that's out there, just ask the questions. We'll answer them. They're all facts. We're not going to lie to you. It's all facts. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Wilda, what do you have for us tonight?
I just want to once again thank Dan and Steve for organizing the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I'm encouraging everyone to come out and have some fun.
All right, Dan, what do you have for us?
Just March 15th, St. Patrick's Day Parade. Again, step off 2 o'clock. Grand Marshal ceremony begins at 11:30 at the Buchanan Firehouse. We're hoping for good weather. And of course, the March election, March 18th. Encourage everybody to get out and vote. Speak your voice. just hoping that the tone and the climate just kind of tones down. You know, at the end of the day, we're all here to serve people, to serve the village, and do what's best for the village. So let's just run on merit, and we'll see, you know, what the outcome is on March 18th. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And like I've said over the past elections, after all is said and done, we all still have to live here together. We're a community, and yeah, it's got to get toned down a little bit. I would like to respond to a few things Anthony said. Yes, I was here in 2017. As a matter of fact, the announcement came January 7th of 2017 that there was no plan. We are not trained ever for the closure of our largest taxpayer and also our employer. And what you also have to understand, that plant was supposed to be open until 2035. And not only that, it's not something that you save up, save up, save up, save up. There's only a certain % of extra money that we can keep into our accounts. Otherwise, it makes it look like we're overtaxing. So we could have figured 10 years. I don't know what we could have saved, but you can't do that. You can't have so much excess. The other thing I'd like to say is, yes, I've been mayor since that time, but there's also been other board members here that have been here quite a while. Anthony, I believe you're 5 years. Dan, I believe you're 4. Steve, I believe you're 3. Awilda's 2. I have been basically the one person here that I've kind of been like the Lone Ranger for a couple of years. So if you guys had had any thoughts in 2022, that was your opportunity, since you controlled the board, to come up with different solutions. And I never heard anyone saying what they could do. I go to the decommissioning oversight board meetings. I attend every meeting. I attend any meeting with nuclear since 2017. And I don't see you guys going to that. There's a lot of information from there.
I've gone to those meetings.
You went to last September. I saw you
No,
once.
I've been to several,
Okay.
okay?
So very
So that's not true.
important. These meetings are critical. Dan, if you become mayor, you will be on the decommissioning oversight board. I go to those meetings. I defend the village. In the December meeting, we had County Legislator Ileana Ulaj, who decided that she should tell us what should be done on that Indian Point property. And I spoke up for the village. Absolutely not. Her thought was, and you know, we have to discuss it yet, the data centers. And I just was offended that she thought that she should be able to tell us. So if you look in LOHUD, the December article, I spoke up against that. I've been speaking up against all the anti-nuclear people and anti-Buchanan people. I look at them the same. One of their thoughts was to put all solar panels throughout the property. That is no good for us. That will not give you the tax base that you need. Not only that, that will close the property up again after the 60 years we haven't had access to it. So I have tried to get as much education as I can in reference to that. I have gone to different communities to see what decommissioning looks like. I've spent a lot of time. We've done different things over the years. We have also our attorney, Stephanie Porteous, in case anyone has forgotten. We've worked very hard. We got legislation actually passed in New York State that allows us to tax the spent fuel cask. Unfortunately, we didn't, or fortunately, we didn't need to have to use that legislation, but it helped us negotiate a good agreement with Holtec. So it's been a challenge. I am proud to say I had a good board that worked with me at the time, and also I led during that time, one of the most difficult times in the village of Buchanan.
And what did you do with it? What did you do for it?
What did I do for what?
What did you do? Like, what comes out of these decommissioning meetings that you claim helped the village? And what did you do from 2017 till we decided to build AMS that was productive for the taxpayer?
Anthony,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
did a lot, okay?
Like, just say
I
one
go
thing,
to
one
the
thing.
decommissioning oversight board
No,
meetings
say
because
one thing you
that-
did. One thing you did.
I had the legislation passed.
And what did we benefit from that?
It benefited because now you're able to tax the spent fuel cask.
No, we are not.
Yes, the law that was passed,
But
we
did it
are
ever
allowed to tax
benefit the
it.
village of Buchanan?
If you know anything about negotiation, Anthony,
Whoa.
we had the upper hand. It was difficult for them because otherwise we would have had to go into court.
That's not even true.
That is true.
That is not
So
true.
it was a negotiation upper
You wanted
hand.
to hit them for the last negotiations for 200,000, you said? And we
are you
asked
talking
Marcus
about?
what we wanted? And all of us here were here to witness it.
Mm-hmm.
I
pilot?
said, Marcus,
Yes.
what do we need to stabilize our budget? He said 1.6 million. And we said, so why are we asking for 1.6 million? And you said, we'll never get that. Am I
Oh,
wrong,
no,
Rhoda?
we got it. We got it.
We got
I
it
had,
because we
I
pushed
had
forward.
conversations with Holtec.
Oh, of course you had
So,
conversations.
yeah.
And you think
So-
that they were worried about what you were going to do with your legislation. That's why we got it.
Listen, it gave us leverage, Anthony. We had nothing before that. We had zero.
That
Going
is
into
false.
we're going into the negotiation, we had leverage.
That negotiation, nothing about that legislation was ever even brought up.
Because they knew the legislation had been passed.
Because
They
it was
knew we had
unimportant
that
to them.
card up our sleeve.
It didn't matter. It's
It
never
did
going
matter.
to work.
It did matter.
In
There
your
was a
mind,
lot of
yes,
work.
which is
Well,
an empty
then why
space.
did other communities throughout the country adopt that? So I would like to say, I do have a spreadsheet that Marcus had done quite some time ago. And so we know we still continue the pilot for several more years. It was an 8-year agreement. So we're looking at the cessation fund. That's another thing I'm trying to work on to get that extended with the school, with the town. We were very successful before when we did that, working together. So the last payment for the cessation fund will be in the year 27, 28. And the projected tax increase at that point is 2.91%. Now, when we get into the year 28, 29, the cessation fund is ended. So what's important here is that we all work together and try to get the cessation fund extended. So that will give us a buffer. The fortunate thing is, fortunate or unfortunate, look, I will say this, the building is a nice-looking building. The problem is, it is just not fits in the character of that. It's a huge building on a postage stamp. So, and if you look at the meeting that day, it was a very difficult decision for me to make. And yes, I keep getting told I voted for it. Yes, I did. And when I said it, I said, this is a very difficult decision. But seeing where the cessation fund was going to come in and what the shortfall was, I did vote for it.
So you're admitting
So-
that it was a good idea.
I think I would have been happier, but I had no choice,
But it was good for the taxpayers. Is that what you're
just
saying?
for the tax base,
Okay,
just
so
for
then it
that.
was
So
exactly what we said
originally.
it was good for, you just said it.
So originally, it was supposed to be 3 stories. We spent over a year going through making the code the overlay district. It was
Just
supposed to be
own
3
it.
stories.
Just own what you said.
So 3, and then it ended up being 5 because that's what the developer wanted. So anyhow, so let me just say this. So the loss in 27, 28 will be 116,000. And in 28, 29 is 232. So Anthony, I think you said the tax that we will get from AMS will be 300,000.
Correct.
Marcus, what is is it 240,000 or 300,000?
It hasn't been completed yet, so we have to see what the assessor what the assessor comes out with. But we have a partial increase in assessment. I want to be totally honest with everybody. In this fiscal year that we're working on the budget right now, there was an increase in the assessment based on what they've completed so far. We're not 100% complete with the building. The building will be totally complete for next assessor roll. So based on the numbers right now, hold on a second, I'll tell you what it is right now. Cindy, what's the current tax rate? Do you remember? 686.
As I heard 240, Anthony said 300.
I did say 300.
I know,
I
I'm
did.
just agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
So we have an increase in taxes based on current assessment, about $190,000 now. And then next year is when they're fully finished, and the assessor will come up with a new number at that point. So it took 3 years. We got it, when they first got the building permit, what they completed so far this year, and then next year's assessment roll will be the full completion. At that point, the assessor will come up with a number at that point.
So what will they be?
Was what I said at 300,000.
What will they be on the rolls for this year? The percentage, just the percentage.
I think they was at 70% completed when the assessment roll was done.
Okay. All right, yeah, because I think the move-in date is in May.
Correct. And then it'll be fully assessed for next fiscal year.
So that would be 27, 28.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And then we'll have the final number at that point.
So that will help make the difference with the cessation fund in 2028.
It could help, I don't want to say what the number's going to be. The number that you read, 300,000, was the estimated number at the time we were working on the assessment. Again, the tax rate went up, so that number could fluctuate a little bit depending on what the tax rate is going to be.
And so that's what this was all about in the end.
A what?
That's what this was all about, the approving of the AMS building,
What are you talking about?
the taxes. So,
Yeah, I
certainty.
believe that's what we were talking about.
Okay,
Is that what we're
yep,
talking about?
that's what we're talking about. Okay,
We
so
don't
yeah,
pay
I just
taxes?
wanted the public to know what the losses are on the, after the cessation fund is ended for the different years, what it is. And then the estimated tax increase at the time was 2.91% for the year 27, 28. And then in 28 and 29, it was 5.82%. And I know one of the residents had come in here with what it would cost each taxpayer if we didn't do the AMS project, and that was Lisa McCora. I do not have those numbers available at this time. Okay. So, now we get to the best part of the meeting. We get to hear from, oh, I'm so sorry, Marcus. Sorry.
No problem. Just got a couple updates. The mayor reminded me, we have some issues we haven't had an issue. Anybody at home with Optimum and Verizon? We've had issues both Verizon and Optimum Altice. Altice is up and running, but the sound quality is kind of low. So Mike is working with Altice to get another piece of equipment to actually boost up our signal to have a better sound. Verizon had an issue for a while. They were offline, but it's up and running now. So we actually tested it today, and the sound quality is actually better than Altice right now. So if you have Verizon, you have better sound, but they're both up and running right now. We're still working with Altice. So I just want to give you an update on that. The other thing is, I just got a notification today, the county grant application we put in for Complete Streets, we were awarded that grant. But we won't see the money for about 1.5 years by the time we get it, so.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So how much was it?
good news.
What were the roads and what was it approved
It was,
for?
the one was awarded was on one of Westchester Avenue.
Oh,
for
really?
BV School.
So that's the one where Peter wrote the letter.
That's
Yeah,
That's
so-
wonderful.
that's great news, Marcus.
That
Thank
is
you.
So
phenomenal.
we got that award.
So
and-
they'll extend, so we'll have a complete sidewalk on that side there?
Correct.
Ah, that's
Correct.
phenomenal, because we go from the circle right up to the school, and there's a section before the school entrance that is, it's a dangerous area because there's like a little curve in the road there, and you see people walking around the lake all the time, and that's a tough area. So and how much, like, what's the
It
dollar?
was $350,000 for the complete
Okay.
streets, but don't forget, we also apply for the TAP grant.
Okay.
And that will also offset not only our portion that we have to pay for, but we'll actually complete the project. That's money the village have to put in overall, so we're waiting for the TAP agreement. The county also said that now that we got this award, they can write a letter of support as well to TAP. So we're gonna be working on that this week to get that to the DOT, so they can have everything together. Hopefully, we get both grants. Again, it's probably 1.5 years before we can get the project done, but at least the funding will be in place, hopefully.
That's great news. That just increases the safety in Westchester, because
Thank you.
that's,
That's all I have.
especially for the school kids walking
Yep.
instead of going up those steps. Perfect. That's really good news.
And we can thank Peter Harkam, too.
Yeah, yep. That's why we ask for letters of support.
Assemblywoman and
Oh, good.
Senator both.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very willing to do that, the letters of support. Oh, great. Thank you.
And from the school district, too.
And the school, yeah, well, it's a good thing for them, too. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so comments from the floor. Who would like to be the first brave person?
Eric.
Leading the way is Eric. Just state your name and where you live, and also, I just want to remind everyone, it's a 3-minute time limit.
Who's timing?
All right.
All right, thank you, Marcus.
Eric
Okay.
Van Cure, 255 Westchester Avenue. Mayor, members of the board. At the February 24th workshop, a unilateral determination was made regarding the legal status of the strip of land between Westchester Avenue and the Village Hall parking lot, an area that has long served as our de facto driveway. Staff was directed to act as though the board had collectively agreed, even though no motion was made and no consensus was recorded. This sets a precedent. Formal actions may now be taken based on informal discussions. Members of this board have repeatedly expressed concern about setting precedents, yet that principle was disregarded in this instance. Such practice raises serious concerns about procedure, fiduciary responsibility, and compliance with the Open Meetings Law. Until the board has formally deliberated, any enforcement regarding this property is procedurally questionable. A FOIL request has been submitted for any documents relied upon by the board in reaching the determination that this property is subject to public trust. It is respectfully requested that this matter be formally reopened and placed on the agenda for the next board meeting so proper procedure may be followed. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. What I'd like to say is you had an attorney. There was another attorney involved, and our village attorney was involved. And this did go back and forth for quite some time. Your attorney especially did a lot of research into that information. And what came about of that it was a public trust. A whole village property here is a public trust, and we are not allowed to sell that property or lease that property, unfortunately. I am sorry about that, but since it's a public trust, we can't. If you would like, I would have to ask procedurally for the attorney if there should be a formal vote this evening and let each board member vote. If we could sell it or if there was a way we could do it, we can't. Unfortunately, but this is going on for several months, and we've gone back and forth asking questions. I know you've met with Marcus several times, and through the research, when this property was bought from the school district, it was put into a public trust.
Are you talking about the purchase resolution?
I'm talking about the property in general. Stephanie, would you like to? Okay.
Thank you, though.
Okay. All right.
I can't.
But can I have the chance to review the documents that the board relied upon?
I know you put in a FOIL request,
Correct.
and I believe Cindy has responded to that.
Yes.
So you will receive in the timely manner the information.
So all I'm asking is, before the board is final, can I review the documents first?
It's just,
Why?
yeah, that's, I'm trying to explain to you our hands are tied at this point. It was established that it's a public trust and we're not allowed to sell the property. I wish there was something else we could do.
Then the documents should show it's a public trust, and
The original deed should
You know
show
what you
that.
could do, excuse me?
Sure,
Maybe you
absolutely.
should make a motion tonight to together decide that you cannot sell, lease this property to him or any other private citizen without an act of the legislature, and that you are determining that you don't want to go through the Assembly, the Senate, and wait for governors in order to release this land. So maybe you want to make the motion, because he's saying that it wasn't made last time. I don't remember if it was.
It was at a
But-
workshop.
All right, well, maybe you want to make that motion tonight.
Okay.
But we were all under the impression that it was impossible, like we had to go through all those stages to
Right.
get to where we needed to get to.
But what he's saying is, we didn't make a formal motion saying you're going to accept the law, and you'll make a motion that you cannot sell, lease, license any part of the property that was deeded from the school district to the Village of Buchanan in 1972? In the 1970s.
But
Because
if-
that would
if
make it
the-
formal on the record. And I don't think, I mean, the FOIL will be answered. I don't think we need to argue this with anybody,
Okay.
so.
So would the board like me to make a motion so we can approve that?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that the Village of Buchanan cannot sell, lease, or license any part of the village property, and without an act of legislation and the governor's signature. And because the property was purchased in the 70s and was put into a public trust. Does that cover all the items,
It
Counselor?
does, but that you might want to mention that you're not directing me to make an application to the legislature of the state of New York.
Correct.
And by the way, just as an aside, people do that, but normally it's a huge parkland, but whatever. What they ask for most of the time is replacing, if you're going to take anything that's been put into parkland. I know the argument's been made that we already have a park in the front, and so he's kind of apportioning that that's the park. The whole property is in a trust, period. Whether you do a whole park or whether you don't. There's case law everywhere that when they're not even used ever, but it's in a public trust. You have to ask permission. So that's where we're at.
Okay. And we are not directing the attorney to put any application in to proceed with legislation. Okay.
Before we vote on this,
Mm-hmm.
who's responsible for the liability and the maintenance while we're waiting for this answer?
Well, we're not waiting for an answer. You guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
When we
that's what I'm
make
saying,
the
like,
decision
Yes.
tonight.
We make the decision
Yeah.
tonight, and then it's gotta go through
Absolutely.
legislation
It's not,
and
No, the answer is
that is not gonna go.
you're
you're
voting.
not gonna let it go through.
Right, you're
Okay.
voting
Right.
not to.
Right.
That is, it's a dead discussion.
And then the
Oh, if
village
we wanted to
is,
go in the opposite direction,
Correct.
then what you
Right.
said, okay.
right. So, and yes, you're responsible for maintaining it.
Yeah, we are,
Yeah.
for the village.
Okay, so can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm sorry, Eric, that's the answer. Okay, who else would like to speak?
Good evening, Darlene Garrett, First Street. Anthony, you mentioned, which I'd heard before, but 170,000 or so in recreation fees. Just curious, is that a one-time fee that we
Yes, it
get?
is.
Okay. And the 40, is it based upon as they lease the individual?
It's based on the square footage, right, of the units?
No,
It goes by the
Per unit.
it's
the different units.
It's based on how many 1 or 2 bedroom units
One
you
or two
have.
bedroom, yeah.
So there's a fee for 1 bedroom, a fee for 2 bedroom, fee for 3 bedrooms, times how many units you have.
But AMS has to fill that space, right, for us
No,
to
no,
get the
no,
fee?
no.
Oh,
No.
No, as soon as you build any kind of apartment complex in the village, doesn't matter if it's just AMS, any apartment complex, you have to pay this recreation fee, if you fill it or not.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So according to that would be when the CO is issued.
Correct.
they would be
The monies get
responsible for paying.
released.
Okay. And then they paid, if I remember the budget correctly, Marcus, 50,000 was the permit, I believe?
No, the building permit was over like 500,000.
Oh, 500,000.
For
There
the
was
building
something in the budget about losing 50,000 from AMS. I'm going to have to revisit that.
Call me.
Okay.
Call me.
Well, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
say, this week was crazy, but next
Yeah.
week I would like
Yeah.
to meet with you. The Knox box situation sounds very interesting, especially even for residential people, but certainly for commercial. I guess I would ask, and maybe Steve is the one taking care of that, that maybe AMS lays out the $3,000 fee that the fire department has to, or the village would have to encumber for doing that. I don't know. What did we get for infrastructure from AMS? That's something I never saw or heard about. Did we get anything from AMS for infrastructure costs?
It's the same for any kind of development in the village. There's no infrastructure fee for anybody that's building anything in the village. You pay a building permit fee and a recreation fee, and that's it. And then taxes, of course.
Right, but we really didn't ask for anything above and beyond that.
No.
Okay. And maybe this is not the meeting, I just wanted to so I watched the workshop meeting. I was here, but I watched it last time, rewatched it. Marcus, you noted that we lose money for summer camp. We actually lose money on
Between summer camp and the pool combined together.
pool is a
The pool is the
loss.
one that is really the money loss.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, yes, all right, good. And, so, did we increase the commercial tax rate? There was talk about potentially the commercial tax rate was going to be increased on commercial buildings?
You cannot, there is a process in the assessment to do a homestead and non-homestead. In New York State, you have to do a reevaluation to do that, so there's only one rate for everybody. Unless you're, like in town of Greenberg, they have a homestead and non-homestead, but we don't have that.
Oh, I thought you had
We did
noted
the
in your.
Water, commercial
water.
water.
You may be thinking about the water rate.
Yeah.
Commercial water rate, not tax rate.
Oh, okay, because I thought I remember seeing something in the
Yeah,
budget
Commercial
about
water rate
increasing.
would be
Yeah,
different.
yeah, correct, thanks for
Okay.
correcting me, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Darlene. In reference to the rec fee, that was something I brought to the board, and we discussed it, what the fee would be for the 1, 2, and 3 bedroom. So that fortunately will help us. It's a one-time fee, yes, I get that, but we have some recreational expenses coming, such as the kiddie pool and the pool itself, and so that will help towards that. Plus, I think we have about $224,000 in a recreation fund that we've had. So the kiddie pool, I think, is about $500,000, so that should help towards the kiddie pool. All right, next.
Hello, everybody. Laurie Perch, Donahue Court. Just on the tail end of what Darlene had brought up, I was going to ask also, is it standard for a recreation fee to be paid just for one time, not year after year after year?
That's
Yes.
normal, that's normal throughout the state of New York.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's normal, okay.
That's right.
I know following the last meeting, Teresa, you were asked about a letter. And did you get a letter? And you were going to elaborate earlier tonight about a letter or something that you had a conversation with Patrick O'Brien.
Yes,
And
unfortunately.
you didn't get a chance to. Would you like to explain that to me now so I can hear
Sure.
your full answer?
Thank you, yes. So I spoke directly to Pat O'Brien, and this is what he said to me. With the baseball field, there was no formal offer. It was meant to be an informal discussion, and I brought it up to the board at a workshop, and the board was not interested in the baseball field. So they wanted monies to go towards the pool, because we have expenses there. And at the meeting, I asked exactly what the board wanted to ask Holtec for, and nobody could come to like an agreement. You know, I mentioned something, well, what about the kiddie pool? Should we ask about that? So there was no agreement that was made amongst the board what it should be. But Holtec would be interested in having a discussion with a public benefit package in reference to placing a data center there or any other property development over there. So that is the conversation I had with Pat O'Brien.
I'd like to respond to that.
Oh,
Well, I'm responding it, and this goes
I
to
know,
you.
I only get 3 minutes. So
No,
I'm-
they're
No, I'm
going
not
to
count-
extend
I'm
it.
not counting your time.
He's
The clock
extending
stops.
it. No,
She was speaking, I'm not cutting it.
he's extending it. So when I met with Pat O'Brien, he said that he could not say anything about the baseball field. He was not involved in that conversation. When I asked him how much money he was offering us, he said he could not tell us at that time. So when the mayor asked us, what did we want to do, my response was, well, we need to know how much money we're getting so we know what to ask for.
Okay.
Right,
You're
that
starting
was
the clock.
concluded at the last meeting, the same
And before
response.
that, we've had this conversation before.
Right, so is that still an open discussion?
Absolutely. If we can get dollar
Once you
signs,
get
we'll know where to go.
Yes, once you get more information on what the exact amount or their ballpark amount is, there could be further discussion about what they can offer.
Absolutely.
Correct, and I
Okay.
think, if I could just say one thing, I think at that time, we as a group agreed that the money should go towards a need, not a want.
Absolutely.
Correct, I agree. Lastly, They talked about the data center going in and the tax not being great. When the data center is put in, don't they have to generate their own electricity? And could we benefit from that being where it is?
Getting an SMR to generate that?
Yes.
I know they're still in discussions about the amount of power that has to be used there and if the grid has it. I would have to think that it doesn't, but, I don't know for sure. But a lot of the data centers are putting in SMRs to power them.
Right.
And just to answer that, when I spoke to Pat O'Brien, he said he wasn't sure if they could even do it. So they're still discussing that.
If they
To
don't
do what?
install an SMR.
The data centers.
The consumer will absorb the excess price.
Right, so I'm just
That's the
looking
problem
at
with
it,
data centers.
I'm just trying to look at it as what could be a benefit if that is where it ends up.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And
There's
if I
also
may,
possible
yeah,
talks of a moratorium on
Yeah,
data centers.
absolutely, yeah.
That's the other
You
issue.
didn't hear Steve, but
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah,
said
Steve
that
go
there's a
ahead, yeah.
state bill passing to do a moratorium on data centers. So that in the state of New York, because they're concerned there's not enough electricity and other reasons. But I just want to know, some municipalities have passed a local law that in order to do a data center, you have to provide your own electricity. The village does not have that. So
Yeah.
that's something the village board can consider, unless this comes up from the state of New York. If we don't have that, there's no requirement for them to do so. I just want to make sure you do that.
Okay.
And we're not even sure if that's a benefit to have a data center. That would have to be a further conversation and
Oh,
some
sure.
research done on that.
Sure, totally understood. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Lori. Anyone else? Good evening.
Got a little time for you guys.
Oh, all right. And then just introduce who you are. Thank you so much. All right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see. what we got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Eric Warner, I live at 159 Seward Street. And this is just a little packet together that I put for you guys. I have a lot of questions, okay? And I would appreciate to get through this and answer the questions if you can, unless there's a stop there, I get extra time. I want to be thanking the board and the candidates for their service to our community. It's not about a confrontational, it's about asking thoughtful questions and fully understanding the long-term impact of large-scale developing, and does this really need to be done? Growth is not inherently bad, but unmanaged growth can create lasting financial and safety considerations. This is why I asked the board to look at shared mitigation as a part of protecting the locals and their taxes. I was told they would. Since then, nothing has been done. Why? Going on from that, we talk about our infrastructure. Our village infrastructure is 75 years old. We've already experienced numerous breaks and leaks in the system where we bring an outside contractor in to do the work at what expense to us. John Zell does great work. He's a good guy, and I trust his workmanship. Increased density means more water usage, more sewer demand, and more road wear, as well as storm runoff. Are we prepared to in-house staff, which also means additional equipment and staffing? Our in-house staff will need to be trained in shoring operations, as anything over 5 feet needs to be shored under ocean NIOSH guidelines. They'd also need to have confined space equipment and monitoring systems because they're working in trenches. Before we're adding hundreds of residents, we need to ask, are we financially prepared to upgrade aging infrastructures first, and our personal capabilities are there? Traffic density. Current building Route 9 approximately will have approximately 144 cars to it, up to 288 residents. That may not include kids or other adults that may be in there. Our roads were not designed for that density, as we are seeing this by just trying to get out of side streets as well as places like Dunkin' Donuts. Increased traffic effects due overgrowth, emergency response times, pedestrian safety, and daily congestions. Does this traffic study really reflect conditions, especially during peak hours and emergencies, as well as weather? Schools. Even if initially the new building is marked as 55 and over, change of occupancy rules can evolve over time due to builders being unable to fill it. Our school system right now costs on an average of $30,000+ per student to go there. That's not being handicapped or special needs, which could go up to $100,000. That's 70% of our tax dollars right here. More students mean higher school taxes, larger class sizes, and potential expansion costs. We should prioritize development that minimizes school impact, not one that increases long-term educational liabilities. Public safety cost. At this point in time, I know we have to hire another cop as one is retiring. That's a wash. we will need more police going downrange at a cost of $200,000. Yes, you got roughly around $250,000, $300,000 from the tax base. Does leave a lot of fluff there at the end.
Okay.
This does not also include our DPW, EMS.
I'm sorry, it's 3 minutes.
Okay.
I apologize.
No problem. I got somebody to take over from the second half of that.
Okay, and what I want to say to you, John Pizzella has been working with our highway guys and teaching them a lot and training them a lot. And so I think eventually they'll be ready to do in-house work on our water main breaks and things like that.
Just one on that, Teresa. When it comes to the training, he's not a certified instructor to teach.
That's true.
And stuff like that, confined space stuff. You actually have to have a professional trained up guy there.
Yeah, we should see if there's training for the highway. They have different trainings, just like the trustees and everybody. There's different trainings that they can go to. Thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am.
Tanya Dresnick, Travis Avenue. I'm just going to finish on Eric's little thing here. Its projected new tax revenue is approximately $250,000 from the current building. That leaves very little margin, and that does not include DPW, EMS, and fire services. Is projected revenue truly covering long-term service costs? Fire and EMS realities. Volunteering is declining nationwide due to increased training requirements and time constraints. If we shift towards career staffing due to overgrowth, the following will cost us. Firefighters average $175,000 annually. Career chief, $250,000. Full staffing could approach $5 million per year. This does not include training and apparatus. Additionally, larger multi-story structures introduce more complex fire behavior, create greater civilian risk, greater first responder risk. Local departments aren't made to fight fires in buildings like this. They don't have the training or the resources. Are we prepared for those operational realities? More residents also mean more medical calls. EMS systems are already stretched. Increased volume may require paid staffing and expanded equipment. How will we fund these sustainably? Financial reality with current building. One-time recreation payments such as $175 do not offset permanent recurring costs. We are already facing $1 million in pool repairs, pavilion issues, aging water infrastructure, rising operational expenses. The key question is not whether we want growth. The question is, are we prepared for the true long-term cost of the scale of this growth? In closing, I'd like to say I'm not anti-development. I'm pro-smart development. We need growth that is financially sustainable, protects taxpayer stability, preserves emergency response capability, aligns with our infrastructure capacity, and careful planning today prevents crisis spending tomorrow. And being like the other Tarrytown and villages and Peekskill, I just want to keep that in mind. Thank you. I don't need a response.
Anyone else? No other comments? Okay.
Mayor, if I
Yes,
will.
sure, Steve, I'm sorry. I
I
keep
think
forgetting
something
you're on
that may be
Zoom, sorry.
helpful- Yeah, no problem. I think something that may be helpful to the last two speakers, if they go back March 5th of 2024, almost 2 years to the day, our planner, David Smith, was in attendance, and he gave a great summary as to, how we had gotten to the point with AMS the 2 years prior. He goes over some of the studies and some of the work with the zoning board, the planning board, and the fire department. So I think between that summary there and plus all the other documentation that's publicly available, I think that'll answer a lot of the questions from the last two speakers.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Okay. Oh, here. We've got one more.
Jody Chipolone, 1 Woods Court. You were talking about water main breaks. I think you're aware of the one over on Church Street that flooded the Methodist Church, which I'm also a member of. That church is very, very small, has a very small congregation. And they were told, I believe they had a meeting with you already, Marcus, right? The church's insurance came back and said because it was not their pipe, they will not cover anything. So my request is there any way that the board can help out? I mean, it's a really small church, so they're being responsible, and it wasn't their water line, it was the village's water line. So I don't know what kind of process you would go through for that, but they do need a little bit of help with that, because the whole basement was flooded.
Will the village's insurance cover it?
So the discussion, we've had, every time we have a water main break, there is water that might enter somebody's property. The situation is our insurance carrier will not cover it because under New York state law, we have to be aware of the defect. If we're aware of the defect and we need to take care of it, then it's our responsibility. If we're not aware of it, we're not responsible. It's like a tree falling down, and unless you know the tree is diseased, there's nothing you can do about it. I just advise the board, if you do anything for anybody, especially a not-for-profit church, then everybody that has a water main break in the future or sewer main break, then you open the door, they have to, then how do you figure out, I'm not an adjuster, how do you figure out how much you're gonna pay that person? I feel terrible for the church. and I
Well,
wish we could
I
do
was just
something.
wondering, especially because it's a nonprofit, so, and it
That-
wasn't, if it was their water line, I get it, but they were just informed that their insurance will not help with
Correct.
anything.
Do you know
Because
how much damage was
I
caused?
don't, I mean, I can find out from them,
I'm just
but
curious.
they just said because it was the village's pipe, they can't help them in any
Yeah.
way.
And Stephanie just put it, that's a gift of taxpayers' money, which is illegal, so you can't give money to. You ca-
Not
yeah,
even a
you'd
gift.
like to.
That's why I asked.
Right,
Right.
That's, I was asking.
right.
Yeah, I know.
So when I talk to the church, I say, listen, I can work, try to get the local contractors to do work if they wanted to. Or met with the committee.
Right.
And we said that I can reach out to contractors, local people, maybe do a fundraiser. I talk to the building inspector who knows the contractors, fire departments, try to talk to the whole community to see if we can get involved. But I asked them, do you have any idea what the damage is? And I'm still waiting for a response.
Right, so would it be best if they came to you with an itemized,
And
as
then
far
we-
as the damage
Yeah,
and
that's what I
cost?
asked, that's what I asked for, so I can at least reach out to some contractors and say, like, if they need sheetrock, maybe reach out to the sheetrock company.
Right.
Maybe they'll donate the sheetrock, for example, since they're in the community,
Okay.
be something like that. So I said, whatever I can do to help, I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to help and try to reach out to as many people that I can.
Okay, I'll
You know,
pass
Jody,
that.
there's a lot of good people in there,
Yeah.
a lot of good contractors, and, maybe, people
Yeah,
will
if I
pitch
could
in
get
to
an
help.
itemized list from
Yes.
theirs, maybe I could get that from them and how much, damage there was, because I know it was like the whole basement. Like I said, it's a very small congregation, so, when they came back with their,
Right.
that their insurance would not touch it.
Right.
It was like, I just wanted to ask.
Right, so I was
So-
hoping.
Perhaps a GoFundMe. I mean, we live in a community where I've seen this community come together
Yeah.
on many occasions with, people in distress where.
Well, you know how that
know.
goes. Most of the congregation is older, so they don't know GoFundMe.
Yeah,
so,
but,
Yeah.
but it,
you
but-
know.
I
yeah,
think
but-
there's somebody
but
there
it
then.
doesn't-
You got a young guy there.
Yeah, so
to,
yeah, I mean that's
to hit
an
back
idea
on
too.
that, it doesn't necessarily have to be members of the congregation.
That's right.
Yeah.
People are just willing to help and willing to give.
Yeah.
Especially when these GoFundMe campaigns start. You'd be
Okay.
surprised how many people reach out.
Yeah.
And
It's,
you
it's just a
shouldn't-
thought.
Yeah.
You shouldn't wait till the next meeting. If you can get the information
Yeah,
to Marcus, he'll
Yeah.
send us an email.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but get me the information, and then what I reach out to the contractors, like I say, it's a small area, so hopefully it won't be that bad anyway. So
Right.
I just got to get some ideas what they need to get repaired, and we can reach out to contractors,
Okay.
and hopefully we get this done.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
you.
one of our two churches here in the
Yeah.
community, and it's
And I
been
felt
there
bad,
quite
you know,
some
when-
time.
We all,
You know,
Of
it's
course.
like,
And you know what I miss about that church the most? The bells. Every night at 6 o'clock, the bells would go off, and that's when you knew it was time to come home for dinner.
you can still ask to ring them. You
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Jody, appreciate it. Yeah,
Just one last question. The one question I asked that's
gotta come to the mic.
today is about chair medication. Nobody's answered why.
oh, okay, I'm sorry, yes.
didn't hear that.
He's talking about shared mitigation. He's mentioned this before, which I think would, if there's any further development here in the village, I think this is something that the board should look at. When you go to other communities, they do, when a developer comes in, they do offer different things to the community, whether it's doing some type of infrastructure. And I remember when we had that other project here, Bill Balter, he had, I believe he offered a fire truck. I mean, he was pretty generous. He was offering to also build for the fire department another space for them to store their vehicles. So when you go to different communities, the developers do offer different things to the community.
I just want to say, in my experience, nobody that has low-income housing or affordable housing that's tied into it. If the board wants to open the door to that one, that's.
No,
what
we don't want to open the
Yeah.
door to that because you know
So
why?
there you go.
We
I
are
agree.
one
There you
of
go.
we are one of 5 or 6 communities in Westchester County that do not require any percentage of affordable housing here. So when you go to other communities, for example, like New Rochelle, it might be 10 or 15% when a development comes in that they have to offer 10 or 15%
That's right.
to be set aside for affordable housing.
So I'm saying there's a lot of federal and state money behind it, and that's why they can give money away. That's the
Well,
difference.
you know what? You can always ask.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
always ask. There you go.
You could ask, but you have to keep in mind what he just said,
Yeah, absolutely.
especially since you don't want
Absolutely.
affordable housing.
Well, we kind of went through that once before with affordable housing here, and they get a lot of discounts. There's a lot of different things, and then you have to do.
Tax rate.
Yeah, it's a tax rate. Then they also ask for over 20 years. What is that, Marcus? Where that you make an agreement with them basically, so it's not a full tax rate.
Yeah, you got it's normally a reduced pilot.
Right.
Rents are lower.
Right.
That's where the impacts come from, to be honest with you, because I have to live in other communities. So that's where impacts you want to avoid.
And that's not for a community like us that is looking to increase our revenue. When you get some of these situations, it's not really a benefit for the community that needs revenue.
No, not at all.
So, any other comments? Okay, all right. I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, have a great Buchanan Day, everyone, and be safe.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.